Look at the time now.
Hey!
Gather up the book, pop in the DVD, sit back and enjoy the super awesome BVO.
Hello bookworms, hello filmsters, I'm Katana and welcome back to their BVM. And today, there's been a question that's been on my mind recently, and maybe this review will help me understand a little bit more, but is the alien trend dying?
I'm not talking about the Star Wars universe because that series has been alive for a while. Not talking about the Star Trek universe because that's been alive for a while. But original stories that have aliens as the main focus or hero. There have been a movie every now and then, but in recent years it seems like no one cares about aliens anymore.
I mean, zombies are on the rage right now, and vampires are still kinda kicking, but what about the creatures that actually brought science fiction to life?
One of the earliest works of sci-fi literature was Lucien's True Stories, which focus on ancient ideas of traveling into space and meeting alien life forms. What happened to that? The plot of finding other species other than your own? The invasions? I looked at the list of movies the Sci-Fi Channel currently have, and a lot of them showcase killer animals, specifically sharks. I'm not joking. Sharknado, Sharktopus, Dino Shark, Ghost Shark, Jersey Shore Shark Attack.
It's only a matter of time before we're looking at a Jaws reboot. You know, after Spielberg takes back about not wanting to make a Jaws reboot.
I want to believe the reason is that we're just too close to the future now to think of them as anything else but scary. Our technology is advancing, more research into space is being made, or maybe we're just all on board that aliens aren't real and such a thing couldn't happen.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that alien stories can't be good anymore, which is why today we'll be reviewing one of those stories. This is I Am Number 4.
I Am Number 4, written by Pittacus Lore, which is just a pen name to disguise the real authors, James Frey, Joby Hughes, and other ghostwriters who contribute to the series.
That little secret writing organization sounds like a hoot, but I'm just here for the book. So what's the plot?
The story focuses on 9 numbered children from a destroyed planet called Lorien. Our hero is number 4, quickly renamed as John Smith. He travels with his guardian Henry as they are on the run from the same species who wiped out the Loriens, the Mogadorians. After leaving Florida because John accidentally showed a group of kids his Lorien scars, they hide out in Ohio, restarting their lives from scratch and making John wonder if he'll ever get a normal life. In this school life, he creates an intertwined life for himself. A football bully, his ex-girlfriend, and a nerdy friend obsessed with aliens. As things start feeling safe, the Mogadorians catch wind of John's location and certain powers, or legacies, within John start to show up. How long will it take for him to be discovered and killed, just like the previous numbers before him?
Whew, already this book is giving me a lot to enjoy, but who am I going to enjoy it from?
We got our hero, John Smith. And I use the term hero very loosely because he's got this real impulsive attitude that gets the best of him. Like moments when he's beating up bullies, or even his guardian for that matter, the writing makes it look as though he's enjoying it a little too much.
Don't get me wrong, I like seeing a reckless and rebellious character as much as the next guy, but it's weird seeing he might join the dark side halfway through.
Henry is the guardian, or in Lorien terms, the Sepan of John. He's been with John since a young age and is responsible to teach him the Lorien ways and develop his legacies. His bond with John is strong, and it's clear to see the father figure in his eyes. Sarah Hart is John's love interest. She's into photography and loves John.
That's all I got.
Sam Good is John's one nerdy friend who's really into alien conspiracies, and a lot of that can be due to the fact that his dad was abducted. And finally, there's Mark James, the football jerk who used to date Sarah and torment John for the school year. Well, for the first half, at least.
Now, let's quickly follow this up with the bad and see what's wrong with most of these characters. And I don't think I'll quote the book for this one.
The same stereotypical representations that are usually shown in movies, aka default characters.
And what is a default character, you might ask? Well, do these sound familiar?
The nerdy kid with the big square glasses and that's a t-shirt. Or how about the star football player who just happens to be a real douche to the main character? Or the hot blonde chick who used to be a cheerleader.
Aha! Used to! She used to be a cheerleader. She used to follow the status quo, but not anymore. Oh, thank God we have Sarah to fight the system.
The setting of this book feels a little outdated too. I don't know much about Ohio, it's probably a really great state and all, but because of this book, I'm now under the impression that it's a little behind the times. Like it was written for the late 80s, early 90s, when in reality, this book was written in 2010.
You can't have YouTube and cordless phones in the same book. Grow up.
Also, the romance between John and Sarah was immensely cheesy. They felt really forced to be a couple, like it was already written in the stars and that they were meant to be, and when they finally are, it's so crammed with stereotypical love that you almost forget this is about aliens.
If I wanted to review a cheap romance novel, I would have done so, and a good one at that.
And some small detail about John irked me a bit. In the first chapter, it's described that he's not that really skilled with talking to girls. But I'm immediately confused when he's talking with a girl named Tara right after saying that, even kisses her on the cheek. Then when he meets Sarah, he's incredibly flustered and nervous and acts like a real sissy.
This in turn leads me to question his social skills.
This is a kid who's had to move to different places time and time again. I would think he would get used to the process and socialize with other people, especially girls. That kind of learning should stay with you, not restart in every new place you go.
To summarize these guys, they were just too standard. Our hero's name is John freaking Smith, the simplest name you could possibly think of. Nothing really bad to hate, but nothing too interesting to like either.
And the writing. Oh, the writing! It did the one thing I hate the most when it has to explain to you the actions, like this part with the hayride. Enjoy the ride, Tommy said with a grin, the kind I've seen people wear when told something bad has happened to someone they despise. Well, if you thought that, then why the hell did you stay on the damn hayride?
Don't assume your readers are idiots. I think from the situation alone, we can understand what's going to happen on our own.
And that's what really ticked me off. The characters felt stale and uncreative, while the writing was just too simple to be taken seriously.
But if you can get past all that, it's not an entirely bad book.
When I got to the alien portions of the book, I was hooked. It felt like I was reading a comic book origin story.
The Tale of John Smith. Pocahontas excluded.
The beginning of John's powers coming into action, learning about one's true destiny, having close friends who really contradict him. He has a girlfriend who likes to take photos and a friend who's obsessed with the outside world and all he wants to be is hidden. Pretty much polar opposites, right?
But the one aspect that kept me going was my curiosity to learn everything Lorien.
This was just another incredible world I wanted to know. And it doesn't just shove everything in a single chapter. Throughout the book, you learn more about Lorien, about the massacre, about the things inside the Loric chest that Henry keeps. And even our own author makes a cameo in the book. Pittacus Lore, Lorien's ruling elder. Yup, totally canon.
And according to the book, most of our achievements as a human race aren't even ours.
The creation of fire, Lorien's. The Great Pyramids, Lorien's. Our speech and language, Lorien's. The ending of World War II, Lorien's. With the help of Captain America.
Man, that was one for the history books.
The book was just one big roller coaster, filled with good moments and bad. The two cancel out each other, making it a neutral and enjoyable read.
So the book did okay-ish on its own, but how did the movie adaptation turn out? Well, let's not waste any more time and just jump right into it. Here's I Am Number 4.
So the movie starts off by taking us on a tour around the globe, ending up in a jungle hut where number 3 and his Sapan are hiding. The wooden door handle twiddles, and pressing his eyes real close, the Sapan is gutted by a monstrous flying squirrel bat thing, and number 3 rolls out of there. He flies off a ravine and lands safely on the ground until a Mogadorian catches him, stabs him into dust, and collects the amulet around his neck.
Well, alright. I have to admit, the movie did cover the introduction of the book pretty well and somehow made it more intense. This probably ain't gonna be bad after all. No, ain't gonna happen, not gonna fly. And just when I was congratulating you, you decided to take a nice hot dump all over it.
This guy was written as a dork, despite having a good body and looking pretty strong. His social skills were kinda terrible and stumbled when talking to girls. But now you changed all that with him doing gnarly flips, drinking on the beach, and even have hot chicks texting him.
His ass needs to be taken off that jet ski and put on a Chuck E. Cheese party booth with a birthday hat and with all his friends playing the wild game of Dominion. Shame on you.
So, as Daniel and Nicole, which her name should be Tara, FYI, are making smooth talk, the scar on Daniel's leg begins to glow, signaling that number 3 has been killed. He witnesses the killing underwater,
As if he wasn't aware, he's already got 2 scars.
and runs away as the whole party shuns him and calls him a freak. Next morning, his upon Henry finds him on the beach, and after one swift Geico ad, he starts packing things up, burning up memories, and hitting the road with some deep monologue. Oh, fun.
People think he's my father. He's not. I don't remember my father. I got my first scar when I was 9 years old. I was just a kid when the Mogadorians invaded my planet, Lorien. 9 of us children escaped. We are the last of our kind. They are hunting us down one by one in order. I know I'm next. I am number 4.
Oh, well, thank God one of us can count. For a second, I thought the order was 1, 2, 3, 5, and then 4.
So after Henry kills off Daniel, it's time for a new identity.
Your new ID. And this time, you stay out of sight, huh? No school, no teams, nothing.
John Smith. Very original.
I don't want to be original. I want to be invisible.
Way to mock it, considering that in the book, you were the one that chose it.
They continue their drive all the way to Paradise, Ohio, and arrive at a sad-looking home with no realtor to show them around.
Bernie Kosar. Played football.
Ah, this movie is just so helpful. I mean, I almost thought he was playing field hockey.
Okay, Geico, we get it. Your car insurance is the best. You don't gotta sliver your way into every scene. Unless you start talking facts, I don't see this movie getting any more interesting. After more existence wiping, there's a bang on the door, and they both go out to discover a beagle that was, not too long ago, transformed from the stowaway gecko. It's also good to note that 7 chapters from the book were jumped over to reach this scene, missing the first 2 days of school and some Lorien background on their other destruction. So thank you for both lacking information and revealing the secret about the dog too early. But look at the bright side. Dog!
No movie can ever be complete without cute dogs. Aww. As long as they don't try to sell you something.
We also get a quick view of the Loric chest, which is way smaller than I imagined. I mean, when I heard Loric chest, I thought of, I don't know, a chest? This looks more like a goddamn jewelry box. And the movie takes its sweet time with a hard stomping Adele song to introduce us to number 6.
You know, number 6 didn't show up until the finale of the book, and not much development was made for her, so I apologize if I don't know all of her legacies. Maybe she's impervious to fire, maybe not. All in all, shame on the movie for showing more than what I've read.
Not even the day passes and John gets bored of staying home and decides to go to school. Henry eventually gives in as long as John calls every hour. He gets to school grounds, and as he's picking up his schedule, he overhears an argument between a chronic nose-picking teacher and the love interest, Sarah Hart. She gets stuck showing them to his locker, and after not taking the name John Smith seriously, can't imagine why, she leaves, giving room for John to be confronted by Luke? From the Percy Jackson movies?
Mark James, listen, you need anything, you ask us, okay? We got you.
I'll keep that in mind.
Good talking to you, big guy.
Doesn't matter where he is, this guy's always going to be greeting the new kid while simultaneously being a douche on the side.
Also, their meeting wasn't this nice. In the book, Mark trips John in astrology class, immediately becoming the enemy. Man, it's just one character after another, because after Mark leaves, the geek with apparently no glasses, Sam Good, walks in.
That guy, Mark, is...
Soon to be irrelevant. He's in the 3rd year of the best 4 years of his life.
Now clearly you can see he's a really troubled teen with bully issues. But that can be explored later. First we gotta go through another slow montage and song.
Unless the next song is Kanye West and Katy Perry's E.T., this fight against copyright strikes is not worth it.
After the song ends, everyone is having lunch outside where more bullying against Sam commences. John decides to help and retaliates against the cool kids by shooting the football back at one of Mark's goons.
It's quite an arm you got there.
Yeah. Who knew? So, what's with the UFO thing?
Sooner or later, you'll figure it out.
Figure what out?
I'm definitely not the guy you want to hang with.
Please don't go to another song. Please don't go to another song. It hasn't even been 2 minutes since the last one. Please don't go to another.
Who wants to know?
Fuck!
You know, if you spent less time making the movie sound pretty and worked on the alien aspect of the story, it would have been fine. Thank you!
It's only for a brief moment, but we finally get a good look at these Mogadorians in broad daylight. And again, I don't criticize much on appearances, but I thought they were supposed to be white. Like, albino white. They don't look threatening at all, more like two bald guys from a golf club.
We party in the night and brute in the sunlight.
The next day, John is in class when Mark comes over to talk, which somehow causes John to experience his first legacy, Lumen. When it gets worse, he storms out of class and hides in the custodian closet, trying to calm it down. Henry shows up because the lower chest glowed within the clock, telling him what was going on. He tells John to take deep breaths, calming the powers down, and they both go home.
Where do I begin?
First off, there was no way that kind of situation would trigger the powers. In the book, it happened in that first meeting with Mark when John tripped, causing an embarrassing moment with the rest of the class. It got even more dangerous when Mark confronted a panicking John after class and Sarah touching him with her soft and delicate fingers. What did movie Mark do?
I see you and Spock are vibing.
Just one weak lame comment? Toughen up, wusspuss!
Also, the chest is complete bull. In the book, John texted Henry to come over as soon as his palms started feeling weird. And when he did come, he brought gardening gloves to cover the lights up. Because yeah, I don't think he could have controlled this so easily.
If he got offended by a little name calling, I think we need a new hero.
So back home, John is given Henry's version of the Uncle Ben speech.
With great powers, don't even think about using them.
And then he randomly climbs out a window and into the forest to test these powers.
My lord, this guy is seriously obsessed with his flips. And I was already under the impression he knew about his speed and strength.
I mean, in the book, he demonstrated his speed and his strength without any hesitation or wonder, so he knows what he's capable of. Are you meaning to tell me that before the glowy palms, he was just as normal as an average kid?
Movie? Start following the book, or else I'm gonna smack you.
A little early for Thanksgiving.
No, you are shitting me. You cannot tell me that a Mogadorian, a species hell-bent on destroying planets for its resources, is doing some afternoon grocery shopping. All my respect for these guys, just gone.
After that hilarious scene just to feed a truck, John just so happens to be walking down the street where he just so happens to see Sarah in some Photoshop. They walk down the street taking photos and struggling with compliments when they see Sam being yelled at by his stepdad.
And his mom, I don't know, probably abducted like his dad. The kid's got really bad luck.
John walks her home and by total surprise, Sarah invites him in for dinner to meet the family. I guess this covers up the whole Henry has possibly been kidnapped by Mogadorian, so John leaves Sarah's Thanksgiving dinner with her family part of the story. Also, there's a spring festival coming up.
Not with the spring carnival coming up.
It's supposed to be Halloween! God, can't one thing right come out of this movie?
Well, I can't really be mad for the movie on Sarah's personality. In the book, she was more of a pretty face character for John to love and be concerned for. It's kinda cool to see how this relationship between the two gets real deep when they talk about future goals and personal problems of their own.
I take that over the lovey-dovey, smushy, mushy stuff any day.
Before the scene gets any more graphical, Bernie Kosar cock barks and gets John to leave, giving Mark something to be angry about. Such as a locker prank for John and Sam, which pushes Sam off the edge. John and Mark stare down for the third time, but his pulsing hands stop him from acting any further. They clean themselves up while Sam explains more about his dad, and again, this movie surprises me with more development. The book covers that Sam's dad was abducted, but we hear more about his job and his crazy beliefs in aliens.
Gotta say, the movie's winning brownie points for better characters.
Coincidentally, that talk of Mr. Good's job leads Henry to do some investigating as he finds half a rock with cool blue coating inside.
I don't know what that is, so whatever bullshit reason the movie pulls from it is probably going to be wrong. Armageddon, folks. Befriending kids and scaring the living crap out of them whenever they freaking please.
So now we finally made it to the spring... Paradise... Spring... Scream?
You combine spring with Halloween. None of you are a skeleton experimenting on holidays! So riddle me this! What the fuck does spring have to do with scary people?
John meets Sarah at the fair and talks some more before going on a spooky hayride. They're dropped off at a half-finished haunted house and they're jumped by a group of hooded football players.
By the powers of the 7 holy lights, I command thee to drop dead!
John fights them off while Sarah is dragged away to Mark. John gets angry and assaults one of the night vision goons for answers, staying in full view for a sneaky Sam to catch the alien in action.
I don't get what happened to us.
So you have your friend throw me over his shoulder, drag me through the woods to come here, when all you had to do is ask me like a normal person.
You don't have to tell me I'm being an asshole, okay?
He's just an asshole. Dude, at this point you are beyond kidnapper level.
John eventually comes to the rescue and shows Mark who the boss. Afterwards, he walks Sarah home and finally makes it official.
All I think about is you.
All I think about is you too. All right, Mom, I got it.
Wow. I think this romance is even crazier than the book. I mean, how many scenes did you two spend together? Like 3? Yeah, real chemistry there. Okay, man, just because you're a living flashlight doesn't mean everyone else is. So, spare some for the normal people.
Walking down the street with his one-night kiss in mind, Sam sends John a text to meet up, asking for answers about the forest ambush, blackmailing John with photos.
Give me that.
No.
You know I can hurt you. Knock yourself out.
Sam, for future references, use the gun you had in the book. It brought a little bit more oomph to your intimidation factors.
Sam then guilt trips John by talking about his dad and feeling misunderstood, which actually works and gets John to say that aliens are real. He makes Sam swear not to say a word and calls it a night.
Getting into fights, telling his friend he's an alien. I don't think John is keeping his word.
Hey, John, don't be stupid. You keep your head down.
I know how to blend in.
I mean, he didn't even threaten any of the football players from telling the cops like he did in the book, so this can only lead to... Yup.
Mark's dad, the sheriff, comes to try and question John about last night's tussle, but refuses to answer. Things get more problematic when a video from the scarring incident is posted online, revealing John's face. Henry decides it's time to leave, but John refuses.
I'm not going. It's not my fight and it never was. I can't even remember a world before this one.
Is this because of a girl? You have no idea how many others have made sacrifices so you could live, and it wasn't so you could come here and experience puppy love like a real live boy.
Then teach him.
In the book, Henry started teaching John about Lorien the day after he got his first legacy. The tragedy of his people being murdered and slaughtered by the Mogadorians. If he actually showed him what happened that day, this wouldn't be an issue. The real issue was what John just said.
It's not my fight and it never was.
The book's John was more informed, making his argument that he's the one they're after, not Henry. He felt like that he was old enough to make his own choice to stay back and fight. But without that Lorien culture backing him up, this really is all just about a girl.
What I'm trying to say is you need to get that boner controlled, John. It is going to get you killed.
John and Henry engage in the fight, with John now unleashing the powers of telekinesis, and Henry finally calms him down, talking very little about the Mogadorians and more on Lorien love. Because that's what's important right now. Love.
Love that almost killed his not father.
The next day, John wakes up and apparently Henry has been kidnapped, so he calls Sam up for an Uber drive and tells him to drive back home.
Whoa. You brought a gun?
Stole it from Ed. Might come in handy. Let's go.
No.
Dude, I came here to help you.
You have. Now go home.
The kid's got a fully loaded shotgun and you deny support? What the hell, man?
So John sneaks with Sam, who doesn't have the shotgun anymore, as they see a guy lock the door and drive off. John tells Sam to follow the car while John enters the house and finds Henry tied to the ceiling. He's attacked by a man but takes him out easy peasy.
The Mog set this up. We need to leave. They're coming. Everybody stays right where they are or I'll shoot this kid. I'll do it!
Oh, you did bring the shotgun. Well, why didn't you use it?
John snuffs out the light and holds the conspiracy guy in Heights, who agrees with Henry that this was a trap. They try to leave, but the Mogadorian breaks the door down. Henry takes the first hit, giving John and Sam a head start out, and we get some nice Sepan action!
Yes! At least the shotgun wasn't wasted. Whew. I can sleep happily now.
Henry returns to John and Sam, who still haven't got the car started yet. John tries to use his powers, but the Mogadorian catches up, almost attacking them if it weren't for Henry taking the stab. The car finally turns on and they escape.
Aw, don't tell me.
You have no idea what you're capable of.
You've got to be kidding me. He dies?
This is like halfway through the story and he's already dead? What the almighty fuck, movie? Who's going to teach John about Lorien now? Who's going to offer support in the final fight now? Who's going to prepare the false identities for future runaways now? Henry was not a boring character to simply kill off. In fact, he was personally my favorite in the entire book, and he kicked ass in the movie too for however long he was in. He was protective over John but still loving like a father. But this movie made him useless. He didn't teach John about the past, didn't train him on the Lumen powers, couldn't help him on understanding his telekinesis, which they didn't even seem so phased about, and didn't explore more of his badass side, just when things were getting good.
You ruined the movie. You ruined it big for yourself.
So Henry isn't even given the chance to be buried or cremated, but who gives a damn about that? What's more important is how these Mogadorians are spreading word about work values and shoving spike balls into other people's throats.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Sheriff James gets to Sarah, telling her that John and Henry are in suspicion of being criminals. Meanwhile, John and Sam drive off, with Sam saying that he has a similar glowing rock and is asked to go get it while John goes searching for Sarah at a house party.
What did I say about the car insurance? God damn it, Geico! You're getting on everyone's nerves!
John finds Sarah on the roof only to say goodbye, but the cops show up, and as Sarah slips on the tile and falls, John demonstrates his powers and runs away, using his mind-bending tricks against the law.
You know, thank God he has a girlfriend. Otherwise, we all know how the story's going to go.
Also, this whole police subplot never happens in the book because unlike this John, the one from the book knew how to cover his tracks. And because of that, the Mogadorians wouldn't stop the sheriff and James, killing the sheriff.
I bet you watch a lot of television, don't you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Don't do that. Okay. Would you like to see me pull your intestines out of your ears? Ho, 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 ho.
The Mogadorians take Mark hostage to lead them to John, who is back at the school with Sarah in the photo room, sharing a moment. Time for this! The Mogadorians arrive at the school, preparing themselves for something big, and John and Sarah are looking for a way out unnoticed.
Did he just die? Did Mark just die? He doesn't even die! What the hell is going on? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Finally, something that actually happens. All that buildup, all those scenes leading up to this final moment. Please. Don't screw this up.
As you can see from this fight, number 6 is a rocking badass, shooting plasma bullets and using her powers of invisibility. Teresa Palmer does not disappoint. She's a true Mogadorian killer.
Who are you?
Number 6. Where's your protector?
Dead.
Yeah, mine too. Mog's got her 4 months ago.
Well, number 6, the book actually said that your Chapin died 3 years ago. Sorry.
The trio head for a hidden passageway under the stadium while Sam and Bernie Kosar arrive at the scene, witnessing the flying squirrel bats, which, as I can see more clearly now, look like raptor heads.
Oh shit.
And the movie disappoints again, because in just a few seconds, I can see we're not getting the dragon without wings as the book described. It's just a bigger dog. Oh, just a bigger dog!
Sam reunites with the trio, even trying to hit on number 6.
Hi. I'm Sam. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
That's cool. That's cool. So are you a number 2?
Who is this tool?
I'll give him that. It was pretty funny.
But their talk is interrupted by the flying beast. More Mogadorians come to distract number 6 while John takes the beast away for a more fitting battle area. He tries to fit it in the lockup, but that does no good. Well, looks like Nationwide ain't on your side now, bitch! John leaves the raptor to Bernie and rejoins number 6 for a 2v2 fight.
Hit me. With your lumen. I need to power up.
What? Never happened!
And then each one of them takes on the guy, which is incredibly disappointing on John's part. In the book, there's this whole one-on-one fight between John and huge Mogadorian, where he's actually taken to a different dimension. The fight was more heavy because of how it was written, and how much more of a struggle John had. But after seeing Bozo the Mogadorian over here, it doesn't feel like a real challenge, making the fight weak and not growing the character in any way. In fact, I think these guys are just the scouts, not the soldiers, so this fight really is lame.
Way to make this battle epic, movie.
They finish the Mogadorians off with, I don't know, Lorien Dragonglass, and the scene takes us back to Bernie and the Beast, which honestly isn't even that fulfilling. It was a fight John also partook in the book, since Bernie was on the verge of death, and John stepped in to help and stabbed the creature in the eye. The attempt to save man's best friend after being saved by it was the reason it was interesting. Without it, it's just a simple mutt fight.
And for God's sakes, you made me watch that? What's the matter with you?
But wait! There's more. As they make it to the stadium, the remaining beasts and Mogadorians attack. It's another grunt fight, and the beast carries number 6 into the skies, but of course, John comes in to save the day. The lights are shot, the beast is stabbed, and they all lie in the grass, letting the Mogadorian get up and choke John.
I think you have something I need. Oh, thank you for making this so nice and easy. Think of how quickly we'll finish off the rest of the planet. It's fantastic!
Okay, seriously, what does The Rock do?
We don't get the answer, but instead see number 6 save John while he sets off the explosives around the Mogadorian, ending the fight.
I don't know why John himself is not fireproof. And I couldn't care less. Movie's almost over.
The next day, everyone is recuperating, where we finally learned that the Rock all along was just a tracking device. Yeah! And I think Sam couldn't have said it any better.
Oh, well that was disappointing.
And you know what? Mark is alive! Yeah! I guess a strong throw to the window and falling off the second floor wouldn't kill this guy. Or at least a few damn scratches.
Almost over.
Mark gives John the lower chest and tells him to move west in order to avoid the cops. And you know what's funny? All this time the movie's been taking shots on the chest like it was actually going to be opened at some point.
So silly.
And after recruiting Sam as part of the alien crew now, John gets in a final goodbye with Sarah.
You know I'll find you again.
Probably still be here.
Henry warned me that we only fall for one person. Ever.
They literally shared 4 scenes in this movie. Just saying.
Well, thank God Bernie found his way back. I'm surprised you guys even left him, assholes. And with another closing monologue and another copyrighted song, the new trio ride out, ending I Am Number 4.
Well, it's surprisingly enough to say that the movie was a close adaptation to the book, which is not a good thing. It had better characters and awesome CGI effects. Call me loco, but I think I'm gonna go with the one that focused more on the damn aliens. Book wins!
This doesn't make the book any better than okayish. When I thought the movie might have a chance to win, I was convinced. The beginning scene was pretty action-packed and it seemed like it was going to be an okay flick. Hell, I remember going to theaters to see this because the trailer looked so promising. But once I got into the heart of the movie, I saw it as nothing more than a cheap romantic flick that just happened to have aliens.
This movie sucked, and to keep with the spirit of things, here's 4 reasons why. 1, the Mogadorians are a joke.
The clouds from outer space took their invasion more seriously, and I'm supposed to know it's all for laughs. This war-hungry species didn't look the least bit threatening, and if it wasn't the stupid comedic moments, then it was surely the way they joked around with their victims before killing them.
2, the romance is even worse!
Not only am I mad that it kinda took over and shoved the alien plot right out the window, but this made the book's romance look like a freaking masterpiece. In the book, John and Sarah shared a home ec class together, building up their time with one another to make the love legit. They met up 4 times the entire movie, and even then, the first 2 weren't on their own. A receptionist forced them together in the first meeting, and John just ran into her in the second. This Sarah felt a little bit more complex, but at least the other one got to see her boo on a daily basis.
3, Henry dies too early.
The man that was literally doing an awesome job couldn't even make it to the final fight. The one who teaches John about his role in life and how important he is to the Lorian society. The one who probably knew how to open the Loric chest because he did explain in the book. Without him, how long would it really take John to figure out that once his Sepan dies, he can just open it on his own?
You wanna know why I think they killed him? Because the movie would have became a different story.
Think about it. Because the police got involved, thanks to John, they placed the label of terrorist on the 2, and that would be enough to make Henry run away again to another location, no exceptions. But with Henry dead, John can start calling the shots, and instead of following what Henry would have done, he decides to follow his heart to Sarah, and dragging innocent lives into battle.
Which leads up to the last main reason why this movie sucked. Lorian is barely mentioned at all.
The only part of the book that I actually enjoyed didn't make the cut. We don't get to see how Lorien looks, we don't get a glimpse of how easygoing both John and Henry's lives used to be before the attack, and most importantly, we aren't given a reason to care. It would have been great to get that Man of Steel vibe to show just how sacred keeping John alive really is. Showing him the Mogadorian invasion would have taught him his position to save the world, but it doesn't. It takes all that away and fills it with a tween love story, which was not what the book was all about. There are parts where I wanted to give this win to the movie, but taking the aliens out of this alien-based story, it just cuts me off right there.
And with that said, those are my final thoughts on I Am Number 4. Read the book, watch the movie, make your own opinions. I'm Katana, and maybe one day we'll get a fresh alien story, but this is just the wrong foot to start it. Until next video, keep an eye out for the people around you. You never know who's among us. Stay safe.
Greetings, humans! Just wanted to say thanks again for watching this video. And if you want to prove yourself human, then why not do what normal humans do and click on one of the 2 subscribe buttons. Aliens aren't creepy enough? Well, why not check out my previous review on Coraline and give that a try. Got a book/movie review you'd like to see one day? Well, just leave a suggestion in the comments down below and I'll be happy to give it a look-see. Until the next video, stay alert!
Because they are among us.